This is Steve Koleno, and this is Confidential Remarks. Looking at this corporate architecture, it's easy to see a deeply embedded assumption that elite results in professional services require a premium commission. But the link between high fees and high quality in these sectors is a cognitive artifact. In consumer markets, price often reflects the cost of better raw materials. But in legal or financial services, the marginal cost of brilliant advice is identical to the cost of mediocre judgment. We accepted the commission model because of information asymmetry. For decades, clients operated behind a wall with no way to independently benchmark performance or interrogate the mechanics of how a service was actually delivered. In that vacuum, clients paid for prestige and access because they couldn't measure outcomes. The commission was a proxy, a structure designed to compensate for the total absence of a mechanism to measure value. That information gap has collapsed. The democratization of performance data has shifted the epistemics of the relationship, moving power from the provider to the client. These structural shifts are standard. Teams use real-time dashboards to monitor delivery and cross-provider benchmarks to compare performance. Independent audits replace provider narratives. As client sophistication outpaces adaptation, brand prestige becomes a weak substitute for testable competence. This forces a diagnostic question for every senior leader. If your fee structure and outcomes were fully transparent and benchmarked against peers, would your value case strengthen or would it weaken? The information advantage that once justified premium commissions has evaporated. Legacy models are now fit only for a world that no longer exists. This leads us to the independence thesis, the logical conclusion that professional competence and pricing models are independent variables. High-quality professional judgment does not carry a higher marginal cost than mediocre judgment. The discipline required to execute at an elite level is an internal process, not a byproduct of the fee structure. Commission premiums cannot purchase execution discipline, nor can they guarantee process systematization. In fact, they often misalign incentives, tying a professional's interest to transaction volume rather than the quality of the client's outcome. Strategic leaders are beginning to select partners based on evidentiary pillars, recognizing that a high commission model offers no guarantee of superior execution. The efficiency-driven model is the evolutionary replacement for legacy structures. It replaces assertions of expertise with a framework built on 4 measurable pillars. Pillar 1 is execution. Competence becomes visible through rigorous execution audits and process mapping. By documenting every deliverable against a specified scope and timeline, success becomes client-facing evidence. We also look at deviation protocols. The documented response an organization activates when a project drifts is as diagnostic of their competence as the initial delivery. Pillar 2 is systems. As this anatomy of a high-value system shows, elite firms engineer reproducible excellence through documented review gates, escalation pathways, and learning loops. These systems signal to institutional clients that quality is structural, not accidental. It ensures that the value received isn't dependent on the heroic effort of a single individual. This creates a compounding performance flywheel. Every engagement refines the system, and those refinements improve subsequent performance, generating stronger evidence for the firm's value proposition. Pillar 3 is transparency. Radical, proactive reporting, sharing performance data before a client asks for it, functions as a powerful credibility signal. It tells the client that accountability is a feature of the operating model, not a concession to pressure. Finally, Pillar 4 is results. Verified benchmarked outcomes are the terminal validation of the entire framework. This requires a distinction between gross outcomes and value-added outcomes. Clients reward the intellectual honesty of providers who can demonstrate the specific causal mechanism connecting their actions to the results observed. Replacing assertions with evidence builds a depth of relationship that legacy brand marketing cannot reach. It moves the conversation from "trust us" to "here is the data." Efficiency-driven structures offer a superior competitive strategy supported by measurable market implications. The data shows a massive performance premium. Evidence-based organizations outperform legacy models on client retention by 3.2 times over 5-year periods. Because clients can articulate exactly why their provider outperformed alternatives, these firms see a 67% referral rate for new business. Grounding the value proposition in documented results leads to a 41% reduction in client acquisition costs. And because their value is verifiable, these transparent organizations actually command stronger pricing power than legacy competitors. The path forward is a sequenced roadmap. Audit the current fee structure, design the reporting architecture, train teams in evidence-led conversation, and optimize the system using the data from each cycle. The tools to demonstrate professional value have finally caught up with the logic. Those who reground their business in verifiable performance will define the next decade of professional excellence. This has been Confidential Remarks.